Welcome to Conversations. I'm Muqtadar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk to you about the year ending meetings that Donald Trump is having uh, in his residence in Florida, in Mar a Lago, with Ukrainian President Zelensky and with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. So today he met with Zelensky, tomorrow he's meeting with Netanyahu. The question that I really want to ask is that during the entire campaign, not only Donald Trump, but the entire MAGA crowd was so critical of Joe Biden's persistent engagement and obsession with Ukraine and Gaza. It appeared as if Biden basically had two jobs, one as a security consultant for Ukraine and the other as some kind of an executive assistant to Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel. So those two seem to be the two jobs that Joe Biden had, and he forgot for a long time that he was president of the United States. And that is the reason why this slogan, America First, by Donald Trump, had so much resonance during the campaign. But after talking so much about uh, working on America First, these days all Donald Trump seems to be doing is doing something for Israel or something for Ukraine. Even though he has stopped aid to Ukraine and the US is not providing the aid at the same level that it was during the Biden era, he's still selling weapons to Europeans and to NATO, and there's no critical examination. I would really like people to take a much closer look at the weapons that the United States is selling. Is Europe actually buying them? Is America giving a discount or whatever is happening? But the US is deeply involved in the Russia-Ukraine war. I don't know how many times Trump has met with Zelensky now, probably more than a dozen times. On top of that, Putin also visited the United States, and no progress has been made. In spite of that, uh, Trump and his foreign policy staff is consistently trying to pursue a solution. Now, I don't understand whether it is solely a personal quest for President Donald Trump that he's seeking a Nobel Prize for himself, and he thinks a ceasefire or at least some kind of a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine or ending of the war is essential for him to win a Nobel Prize for peace. But he seems to be pursuing that. And then, of course, he has done whatever Netanyahu has wanted. He has pushed Saudi Arabia more aggressively to sign the Abraham Accords, to normalize relations with Israel. He has managed to get Kazakhstan to sign the Abrahamic Accords. He has done what Netanyahu has dreamed of for the last 20, 25 years. Attacked Iran and bombed its nuclear capacity and nuclear facilities. And there has been consistent supply of weapons and foreign aid and money and dollars and support in international institutions to such an extent that the United States is now ready to destroy the International Criminal Court in order to protect Netanyahu. Trump has also written letters to the president of Israel, literally asking him to forgive and basically pardon the Israeli prime minister for all the crimes that he has committed, and so on and so forth. And so he ends the year once again meeting with Zelensky. Nothing really came out uh, except that Zelensky says that there is an agreement on what Ukraine wants, which is security guarantees, which means that Trump is involved because without security guarantees from NATO or the US, Zelensky is not going to be happy. He's not going to be thrilled with security guarantees from Poland or Germany or France or even UK. So the US has to be there because otherwise Russia is not going to be impressed with non NATO uh, uh, security guarantees, even though the Europeans may promise to have more troops on the ground, etc. But as long as it's NATO and not European Union, which is providing security guarantees, the US is committed. So Donald Trump, at least from the announcement that Zelensky made today, seems to be working for Ukraine once again without any concessions from Russia. And Zelensky has also said that there is no agreement on Donbas region or territories that Ukraine is willing to concede to Russia in exchange for peace. So basically, all that has happened in all of these negotiations is nothing, except to some extent, Donald Trump has moved away from his original position and has now much closer to the European position of providing security guarantees to Ukraine. And Donald Trump has, in this process, alienated a very important ally and partner, which is India, by imposing additional 25% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. And that has not stopped Russia from continuing to bombard Ukraine. So one thing is very clear, that President Trump is working just as hard for Ukraine as Joe Biden was. In fact, much, much harder. He's like, every day there's something or the other going on about Ukraine. Either Witkoff is flying to Moscow, Jared Kushner is up to it, or Rubio is in Europe, or Zelensky is in the White House, and so on and so forth. And then on the other hand, he's also so busy working for Netanyahu, trying very hard to pressure Middle Eastern countries to sign the Abrahamic Accords, to make friends with Israel, trying to get Netanyahu some kind of relief from his legal problems. And then, more importantly, the defense budget that was just passed, National Defense, whatever act it's called, has $800 million in it for Ukraine and $600 million, in addition to the $30 billion for a 10-year package that the Obama administration had promised. And so $600 additional million for Israel. So it appears that for all the talk of America first, Donald Trump's foreign policy, except for the tariffs part, where also there was a lot of alignment. Remember all the tariffs that Donald Trump had imposed on China and other countries. In his first term, Biden did not reverse any of that. In fact, he doubled down on the tariffs on China, especially doubling the tariffs on electric vehicles and on solar cells and batteries. So Biden also pursued the same policy. So there's not much a difference at all in what Biden was doing in his last year as president and what Trump is doing now in his first year. Both of them are trying hard to protect Israel and Ukraine. So where is America first? So the point that I'm trying to make in this short conversation is that Donald Trump's foreign policy now looks like the same as Joe Biden's. And not, there's nothing America first about it. There are other American issues which are at stake, and I don't see Donald Trump working as hard. So, for example, this whole issue of affordability, people are extremely unhappy with the inflation at home. The job market has not improved significantly, even though there has been growth in GDP. The growth in GDP in the US, like in India, for example, is not translating into growth in jobs. So neither are there more jobs being generated in this economy, nor has inflation come down. So the challenge is, what is Donald Trump doing, focusing so much on foreign policy? He just attacked Nigeria, and he's just constantly just looking at foreign policy issues rather than working on improving America, making it more affordable, making it more peaceful, etc. The only success that he's really had at home, which complete in contrast to Joe Biden, is obviously the stopping of illegal migration to the United States. The border is completely sealed. So yes, kudos to him. Congratulations, he has achieved that. But otherwise, the foreign policy, there's nothing America first about it. It looks the same as Biden's. There's another big crisis that's right up now, we will have to face it, is that the premiums for the Affordable Care Act, people who signed up to Obamacare, about 22 million Americans whose health insurance premiums are going to triple. They are going to triple. So there's going to be simply unaffordable for many of those Americans who are on Obamacare or who have signed up for healthcare through the Affordable Care Acts. They are not going to be able to afford their premiums at all. So we're going to have a massive crisis. Either people are going to be without healthcare senior people, or people will be going bankrupt, and life is going to become very, very difficult for 22 million people. So while Trump is busy working for Israelis and the Ukrainians and trying to advance their national interest, he is sacrificing things at home because he doesn't have the money. He's giving tax cuts to rich people, and he is sending money abroad. He's fighting wars all over the place. He's involved in Syria, involved in Nigeria, involved in the Middle East, and of course also in the Far East. So where is America first? That is my question to Donald Trump as we go into 2026. Plus, there is chaos at home. His own movement is heavily divided on this particular issue of Russia and Ukraine and Israel. And there is a lot of anger at the fact that the economy has not really been fixed. 70% Americans are unhappy with the direction of the US economy. And while the Trump administration, people keep blaming Biden, it's been 1 year nearly. Biden has gone. And so I think the buck stops with Trump. And so this year, in many ways, has been a waste as far as, except for the immigration part. We haven't seen the dividends. There have been no new manufacturing jobs generated as a result of the tariffs. It could take maybe decades. I don't know how. On the other hand, the artificial intelligence revolution is actually going to do far more in reducing jobs than these tariffs have done in increasing jobs in America. So I think what Donald Trump needs to do is to focus. He has to just focus on what's happening in the American economy. There have been many distractions, and some of it of his own making with his Epstein files. If he had released them all at once, right in the beginning, we wouldn't have had so much anger and frustration among the people, especially his own people, the MAGA crowd. What are they hiding? So on the domestic front, Donald Trump, I think, has not really fulfilled his promise of America first. And as I said, it looks more and more like the same old foreign policy, nothing new except the tariffs. So anyway, that's all I wanted to share. I will come back again in another half an hour, and I want to talk about, for those of you who are in India and watching, I will be talking about the new H-1B rules that Donald Trump has announced. So come back in half an hour. If there are any interesting questions, now I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I will see you when I see you. Christopher Moses, thank you for watching, and welcome to Conversations. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtadar Khan. And if you have not already subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share it with your socio-political network. Until next time, bye.